Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back. It's March 14th, so 3/14. Happy Pi Day for some of you mathematicians out there. And today, well actually tomorrow morning, we're gonna start putting the hydraulic pump back together and for the H. But before we get to tomorrow, I wanted to touch on a few things this evening. First of all, as you can see, I'm wearing the hat that I got from Richard, one of the hats that I got from Richard and Hollis. So thank you again, Richard, for all your support and for the gifts that you sent through the mail. It's very much appreciated. I do have an extensive hat collection as well, so along with the license plates that you see up above. But so thank you for that. I also wanted to reach out to Rodney and say thank you because he contacted us regarding a battery box and lid, and we had already purchased a new one for this project, but I mentioned to him that Connor over at This Old Farm, if you haven't checked out his channel, be sure to do that. It's a really great channel. He's a young guy that him and his dad run their farm, and it's pretty much entirely with classic, antique, and vintage equipment. So but anyways, Rodney offered to send a battery box for the H project, and I mentioned that Connor was looking for one for one of his H's. So he actually was kind enough to say, well, you know what, I'll send it to you, and why don't you get it on over to Connor. So big thank you to Rodney for that. Should be here sometime next week, and I'll get it over to Connor, and we'll go from there. And I know for a fact that Connor is very grateful. So I want to say thank you on behalf of Connor for that. So thank you, Rodney. And big thank you to Rudy, as always. Rudy has helped with more than just this project. He's helped me in so many different ways. So if you guys need any magneto work or carburetor work done, be sure to give Rudy a call. He's over at rebuiltmags.com. I always put his logo at the end of my videos, and then you can go to my channel, and there's a link on my channel. I think it's under the suggested or attached channels area on the home page of my channel. But you can go to his channel and view videos of him working on magnetos and detailing in some setups and timing and stuff like that. So big thank you to Rudy, because he let me use his sandblast cabinet today, because the one that my cousin gave me is not currently up and running. It needs some work before it's ready to go. But these are just a few of the parts that we cleaned. These are the pins for the flip back seat, the brake band, I guess you could call them. I don't know the technical term, but these are the I guess the cams. They rotate and, you know, wrap the brake bands tighter around the drum. Couple hose clamps. This is the drawbar pin, the front pin keeper that goes on the bottom of the front mount bracket. This is the PTO engagement lever bracket. This is the plate that goes behind the grill insert on the front of the grill, and of course the air cleaner. One thing about these brake cams, I guess I'll call them, is they're these plates that are welded to this shaft that the brake assembly, I guess the spring assembly mounts to. They're only held on by small welds. These rotating brackets here, they're only held on to the shaft by small welds, and they're very prone to breaking those welds from mashing on the brakes and stuff like that. if you guys recall back on the M when I did the brakes on that, we had a broken cam on it as well, but we used Rudy's welder and just ran a couple good quick tack welds on there and then ground it smooth to the best we could. I'm not a welder, but I do the best I can, and hopefully someday I'll have a welder of my own and I can get some more practice in. But that is one thing to look for if you guys are working on the brakes on your tractors. Clean these cams up really well and inspect these welds, because they're very prone to breaking. This is the second one I've found on just 2 different tractors that has been broken. So these parts are ready for prime. Some of them will not get primed because they're internal pieces, but that's where we're at with that. And I've had a few emails about the 1928 John Deere D and what I'm doing with the engine on that, because it is stuck, or at least it was. But I've had it soaking since we got it with a 50-50 mix of automatic transmission fluid and acetone. That seems to be the best penetrant and lubricant that people have come up with. And I haven't tried it in a while to see if there's any movement in the flywheel, so let's take a walk. All right, well, you can see we're back here by the tractors where they've been parked all winter, and everything has been through melt, freeze cycles, and it's just, this is all solid ice. That whole pack right there, that's all solid ice. This is all solid ice. But let's take a walk over here and see what we got going with this Model D. Try and give the flywheel just a little shake. I don't ever recommend turning engines that have been stuck without at least, at bare minimum, pulling the rockers and push rods out, because it's very easy to bend push rods and rocker arms when you're trying to force stuff. But let's see here. Nothing. Nope, nothing. So for those that were questioning what's going on with the D, there's been no progress. But I'm hoping that we can get this thing in the garage after the H is back together and after show season probably, and we'll start tearing it apart and seeing what we're working with. But my guess is the cylinders are probably full of junk, so that's where this is at. But oh, one last thing here, let me since it's going around, let me see here. Nope, no coronavirus on here, so we'll keep moving. Okay, back up in the garage. One last thing to touch on before we start on the hydraulic pump tomorrow morning is, as you can see, there's pretty much no parts left in the garage, which means everything's at sandblast. All the major parts are there. So there's a few just minor pieces that I've been taking over to Rudy's here and there, like the pieces I showed you earlier. Those pieces are just little pieces that I'm doing in the sandblast cabinet over there, and mostly because they're kind of sensitive pieces. So I things like the air cleaner, you know, I don't want to get anything inside it as far as blasting material. So those things I tend to do myself in some type of way as far as cleanup goes. But yeah, that's all I've got. Once we get everything back from blasting, it's going to go to prime. So all the cases and everything will be primed. It'll come back here in the garage, and then major reassembly will start. So tomorrow morning is the hydraulic pump. So I'll see you in the AM.